Good morning. If you're tuning in, you must be inquiring about inductive teaching. Is a lot different than deductive teaching, which is what we're kind of going to go into today. With the way that education is happening today, we need to start verging to inductive teaching because it will be easier on our students, and they'll become more successful, passionate, and responsible learners. I know that whenever I was in high school, I did not want to listen to long lectures. And so this really, inductive teaching really is verging away from that and letting students discover their own ways of learning and their own responsibility for their learning. Deductive teaching is just simply teacher-oriented and for the teacher, by the teacher. So we really want to show different models today as to how to use inductive teaching
myself,
to get our students engaged.
Teaching, I think of a teacher inducing learning within and amongst the students, inducing the students to go out and seek their own answers and do some independent learning on their own with the teacher's guidance. Whereas deductive learning, I think of the teacher is constricting the students so that they must deduce down to one answer, only one correct answer. It doesn't leave the students a lot of leeway to explore or do any independent learning, which is definitely, not that I didn't have wonderful teachers myself, but definitely the way that I was raised, where you memorize those answers and then you just spit them back out. And so really, as Brooke said, we're definitely trying to get away from that with today's new generation of teachers and learn how to guide the students along and teach them to know how to learn for themselves as opposed to just memorizing information.
Hello, my name is Miss Addison, and we talked about earlier showing you different models of inductive teaching. In this first lesson, I will be teaching my class through anticipation guides and role playing. I'm going to break it down into getting them to get focused and gaining their attention and engaging them with an anticipation guide. What an anticipation guide is just to get a feel of how they feel and what their opinions are. And you can also refer to it back after you've actually completed the lesson. Then I'm going to assign them a project that's going to involve role playing. It's going to be their summative project with the unit that we are doing over To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, which is dramatized by Christopher Circle. So we're going to be going over that. Their final project is going to be, they're going to be split into 4 groups of 4, and one of them has to be a director, which is the role-playing part that comes into play. 2 of them have to be actors, which is another way of adding role play, and then one of them has to be a scenic designer, which is another form of role playing, and then we'll turn it into a portfolio at the end.
My name is Misty Seiler, and the inductive teaching model that I'm going to demonstrate for you today is called concept attainment. It really works well as a good warm-up activity to kind of get the kids' attention and get them involved and interested in what we're going to talk about for the day. In this unit, we've been studying the different concepts of characters. So I'm going to take one of those concepts at the beginning of the lesson and do this teaching model. And it's probably easier for y'all to just watch how it works than for me to explain. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that. And now you guys are going to learn about concept attainment. Okay, guys. So y'all know that within our unit, we've been talking about different concepts of characters, right? Okay, so I want y'all to keep those concepts in your minds while we do this little activity that I think you guys are going to find really fun. Okay, so this is called concept attainment. On this side, we have examples. This is where we're going to place are examples of a concept that I'm thinking of, that I'm not going to tell you guys. So we have examples of that concept on this side, and we have non-examples on this side. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple to start out, and then y'all are going to start trying to guess. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a few examples to start out. Okay, an example of the concept I'm thinking of would be Voldemort. And a non-example of this concept would be Harry Potter. Okay, now look at these two guys and think about the differences. And then relate that back to some of these concepts we've been talking about, okay? All right, the next one is going to be, an example is going to be Joker. Okay, can y'all see where I'm going with this? If anybody thinks that they've guessed the concept, don't say it out loud. We're going to wait till the end. You don't want to give the answer away to any of your friends, okay? So look at these. Look at the similarities between these guys and the similarities between these guys and the differences. And now you guys guess. I want y'all to guess and give me some examples and non-examples that y'all think would fit into these categories based on the mysterious concept we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so if you think you know the concept, would you raise your hand? Okay, Sarah.
Is it antagonist?
Oh, that is excellent. Yes, it is. Antagonist. Does everybody remember talking about antagonists? Okay, good job, you guys.
Our final models and concepts of today for inductive teaching that I'm going to be going over is discovery lesson and inquiry. To just give a little basis of inquiry and discovery lessons, discovery is pretty much where you just give your students a problem or a certain story and you ask them to figure out how it relates to their lives and their community and how they can fix that problem. What we're doing today, just to give an example, is we have found a story over discrimination of African Americans. Our students have read this story and we're trying to get them to relate that to what's going on today and how they would fix it. They're going to be asked to devise a plan and write a letter to the governor of Texas to try and get their problem that they have addressed fixed. So it's a really cool way to get them to discover new thoughts and new processes and new ideas for how to fix actual real life problems. And it's also helping in their education towards theater because of the related material to the play. Thank you for following us today and following along, and we hope that you've learned some great ways to use inductive teaching, and we hope that if you've never tried it before that you will. It does take lots of planning, it does take lots of time and patience, but when you get there, the results are wonderful and the payoff is great. So we hope that you learned a lot and that you will try inductive teaching sometime very, very soon.
And we'd also like to mention that what we've showed you today, these are just examples and guidelines. Inductive teaching does not have to mold to any one specific model. These are just to help people get started. The sky is the limit as far as strategies. You can make up your own. You can find tons of them. There's wonderful resources on the web. But this is just meant to induce inductive teaching.
Thank you, and we hope that you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Phenomena.